You know how technology goes. Welcome to Check It Out. I hope you like the whole fall atmosphere of my slides. I was really thinking fall. So hopefully you have a beverage and you have something cozy and notes and your Baker and Taylor carts open. And let's get started. And there we go. And I'm going to move my camera here because it's in the way. There we go. For those of you that don't know me, welcome. My name is Janeé Jackson-Doering. I am the Youth Services Consultant for the State Library of Iowa. If you have any youth-related questions, concerns, please give me a buzz. Please call me or reach out via email. I would love to come out to your library and visit. And I do bring goodie bags of books with me. So please reach out if you have any issues or questions that are youth-related. And I wanted to share a picture today of something that brings me joy. You're probably thinking, what the heck is all this stuff? Many of you know, or maybe you don't know, I'm a big art journalist. I love to do art journals, and I haven't art journaled in 4 months, and it was driving me crazy. So that picture that you see is all of, well, a small sampling of my art supplies. So I got to spend a lot of time this past weekend just art journaling. It just helps me get out feelings. I love to create. And so this was something that brought me joy this month. And I hope you find something that brings you joy this month as well. So what is our plan today? We're going to look at story time standards, which is, for those of you that don't know, those are the best books to use for story times. We'll cover second and third grade chapter books, early readers, picture books and board book roundup, middle grade books, teen fiction, children and teen nonfiction, graphic novels and manga, and finally, what I'm reading / upcoming events. So let's get started. There were a lot of books to cover this month, so I had a very small snippet for each segment, except for teen. Teen, there was a lot. So we're going to go with story time standards to start with, and I have one this month that would be a wonderful book for a snow story time. Seems like there's a lot of snow books this month. This is called I'm Going to Build a Snowman, and this is written and illustrated by Jashar Awan. This received starred reviews in Kirkus and School Library Journal. And this delightful picture book is about a little boy. This little boy awakens to see snow on the ground, and he's so excited because he's going to make the best snowman ever. And he yells this during breakfast. His mother helps him put on his sweater, zips his coat and his hat. And the next spread shows readers, how to build a snowman. I wanted to show at the bottom left of your screen. I love this image of building a snowman and how building a snowman is so easy. And it shows kids the steps on how to build the best proper snowman. However, when the little boy makes his version of a perfect snowman, he notices it does not look right at all. It's slumped over, it's clearly child built, it's just not the perfect snowman. But then he realizes something is missing about it. And what he does, he adds a smiley face to the snowman and asks his mom to take a photo. This is a super cute story with wonderful illustrations. They're bright, colorful, eye-catching. This would be a cute story to pair with The Snowy Day, which is one of my all-time favorite snowy picture books. So if you're looking for something to pair with The Snowy Day, my money would be on I'm Going to Build a Snowman. So check it out. Okay, we are going to move to second and third grade chapter books. I'm going to move my camera here. Our second and third grade chapter book selection is Trouble Finds Plum. This is book 3 of the Plum series, and it's written and illustrated by Matt Phelan. And in his third installment of the Plum series, the Athensville Zoo is in trouble. Plum, the peacock, notices this really bully, mean-looking raccoon named Scratch. And Scratch is on the hunt for food. And he breaks into the Athensville Zoo looking for food. And he bullies Plum the peacock. And to make matters worse, he brings all of his raccoon buddies into the zoo, and there's a raccoon infestation. And Plum is not having this, and neither is his pal Meg, who's also a peacock. So Plum and Meg and Jeremy, which is the zookeeper's cat, they all team up with their quirky and very smart friend Itch, who's a ningbing. And they also team up with the bear and the neighborhood chipmunks to put a stop to this bullying and to rid the zoo of all the raccoons. I really liked this book, especially all the Plum books in the series. I like this one in particular because it teaches kids to stand up to bullies, because sometimes bullies have something going on in their lives that make them become bullies. And Scratch just wants to be part of a family. And in this book, Scratch learns that a family can be made from those who care about you. The black and white illustrations are solid. This is a perfect chapter book for that 2nd to 3rd grade crowd. So definitely recommend Trouble Finds Plum. Okay, my next selection. I love Dan Gutman. I love the My Weird School, Weirder School series, and this is the Weird-tastic School series. This selection is called Professor Pitt is a Nitwit. And this is book 3 of the My Weird-tastic School series. This is written by Dan Gutman and illustrated by Jim Pilot. I hope I said that right. Pilot. In this 3rd installment of the My Weird-tastic School series, AJ is not crazy about art. He's a 4th grader, and his 4th grade class has been invited to attend an art museum. And they all get to go look at the exhibits, and AJ's just not digging it. He just doesn't like looking at pictures. He doesn't like looking at the sculptures, and he's just not crazy about it. So after the trip to the art museum, everyone goes back to school, and their art teacher asks the entire class to create a piece of work. Well, AJ isn't putting any thought to it. He's just like, okay, I'll figure something out. So he tapes a tube of paint to the wall, and that's his artwork. Well, it just so happens that Professor Armpit, yes, that's the name, Professor Armpit, who's an art professor, is visiting AJ's art teacher. He sees AJ's artwork and declares him a genius. He thinks it's the most coolest thing ever, and he's the next biggest Picasso. But AJ's like, really? Huh? It's just a tube of paint taped to the wall. You think I'm an art genius? And the professor thinks he is. So much so that he asked AJ to create 20 more pieces of artwork to auction. But AJ realizes he needs his friends to make that happen. So what could go wrong? A lot. The black and white illustrations help tell the story of Professor Pitt is a Nitwit. This is total kid humor for that 3rd to 4th grade crowd. There was one example of this is in the book when the kids are walking to the art teacher's classroom. One kid says, if you put F next to the word art, you have the word fart. I bust out laughing at that because, that's total kid humor, total fun, silly humor for 3rd through 4th grades. So definitely pick up Professor Pitt is a Nitwit. All right, we are going to move to early readers. And I have one early reader for you this month. This is called Cornbread and Poppy at the Museum. This is written and illustrated by Matthew Cordell. And in this story, I have my reading planner here because I have my notes. Cornbread loves the indoors and he loves museums. Poppy does not. He's invited to the Moorville Museum's gala, and he invites Poppy because he has an extra invitation. And so they go, they see the unveiling of new exhibits, and they see insects and all kinds of new art pieces. And it turns out that one of the exhibits is a picture, and the picture looks just like Poppy. And Poppy's like, huh, what? And everyone is excited because Poppy is related to the founder of the museum, which leaves Cornbread kind of jealous. And so there's a fun little discovery story in here because there's this beautiful vase that smells really good, but it's accidentally knocked down by Cornbread. So what does Poppy do? Poppy saves the day because she has, guess what? A replica of that vase in her house. This is a charming story if you love little mysteries, if you love museums, and kids have they can read the simple sentences on the text. So it's very fun, very interesting. Definitely check out Cornbread and Poppy at the museum. Okay, we are switching gears because we are at 11:13. We are going to move to picture books and board book roundup. Our first title is Sometimes I Cry. This is written by Jess Towns and illustrated by Daniel Miyares. This received a starred review in School Library Journal, and rightfully so, because this is a beautifully illustrated story about all the reasons why we cry. There's a young boy throughout this story, and you see the reasons why he cries. He falls off of a bike and skins his knee. He goes to the baseball game and he's up at the plate and he strikes out, which causes the team to lose the game, and he cries. Or when he has pride playing with his baby sister and he's happy to see his baby sister and he's crying because he just has so much love for his sister. Or he cries when his dad is tickling him too much and he laughs until they both cry. This is a great social emotional learning title because you can use this book to ask children, what makes you cry? So it really gets kids thinking about the different reasons why we cry and why they cry. So definitely pick this up to build your social emotional learning collection. Our next title is Something Someday. This is written by Amanda Gorman, and this is illustrated by Christian Robinson. This also received a starred review in School Library Journal. So this book is about a young boy, and this is told kind of in a poetic form because Amanda Gorman, we all know Amanda Gorman, she is a poet, national poet, and she read the inauguration poem during the inauguration for Joe Biden. But this little boy observes people littering. He observes litter and trash, and it's impacting the quality and the appearance of his community. And he's sad and he wants to do something to make his community better. And he feels discouraged to solve the problem. He just really feels like he doesn't know how to make a difference because it's just too big of a problem to fix. So slowly but surely, he decides to make a change. The picture down below, I love this picture because he's starting to also plant different plants to help beautify the community. And I love where it says, sometimes you feel like you're all alone, but someday somewhere you find a friend, someone who will hope with you, who believes in your dream, someone who will fight with you. This is a beautifully illustrated story. I love Christian Robinson's artwork. It's beautiful. And if you're working with the theme for 2024 for summer reading, which is Read, Renew, Repeat, this would be a wonderful book to add to your summer reading collection for 2024. Our next book is called Every Dreaming Creature. This is written and illustrated by Brendan Wenzel. This also received a starred review in School Library Journal. And I just love this book. It is a beautifully illustrated book that is perfect for bedtime. The book starts out with the spread that's to the left of your page. It says, I had a dream I was a sleeping salamander. And the salamander goes to explore the world. And throughout the story, the animal changes. So you see an owl, you see an octopus, you see a bat, a bird. You see all these animals morph and transform until at the near end of the story, it's a child that's wearing kind of the colors similar to what the salamander has on its body. You see the child playing in the snow with salamander colored pajamas. Beautifully illustrated story. It's a perfect quiet book for bedtime. So definitely pick up Every Dreaming Creature by Brendan Wenzel. All right, if you're ready for something silly, you definitely want to pick up This Book is Banned. This is written by Raj Haldar and illustrated by Julia Patton. This also received a starred review from School Library Journal, and rightfully so. This is a funny picture book that playfully discourages readers from turning the page, even trying to convince them to throw the book away. And this book has a hilarious ending at the end of it. And it's one that shows the importance of free speech. So in the beginning of the book, the giraffes are getting all the tasty leaves, and the hippos don't like it one bit. They're mad. They're not getting any food. So the complaining hippos are the next to be banned. So any animal or thing or item in this book is just banned. So followed by dinosaurs, avocados, beds, birthday cakes, and more. All of these things are banned. And the illustrations really add the impact. I don't know if you can see on the page or to your right, there's writing written in red or things like the word avocado scribbled out in red because it's banned. But I love those red pencil marks because it shows the impact of banning items. And the narrator says to the kids, "Are you sure you want to keep reading? You do? You're having fun?" And then answer is definitely going to be yes, because I love that interaction with the book. But what I do love about the book, it offers an age-appropriate definition of what a banned book is, which it says it's when one group of people decides that no one should be allowed to read a certain book, and they try to remove that book from libraries and schools. So it's a thought-provoking picture book. It's silly. It's funny. If you need something to read to show and demonstrate what a banned book is or what something banned is, definitely I would recommend This Book is Banned by Raj Haldar. Our next two books are board books. So this is our board book roundup. The first book to your left is called Are You Wiggly? This is written by Tim Button and illustrated by Ana Martín Larraña. And this is about, basically, it's all on board pages. It's where young babies and toddlers learn which animals are wiggly. So they'll say, and it starts with this kind of layout. "Hi, bird. Are you wiggly?" "No, I'm flappy." "Hi, butterfly. Are you wiggly?" So it has that pattern where it's asking the animal if they're wiggly. And, "Oh, no, I'm this." So it has that type of pattern as you go through. Bright colors, beautifully illustrated, super engaging for toddlers. And Baby Bear's Busy Day is the world of Eric Carle. This book has it's a touch and feel book. So kids are able to touch and turn these. There's a side where you turn the pictures. There's an area where you can feel the baby bear's belly. Super engaging with fur. By the way, it's like really nice brown soft fur. Super engaging with that touch, feel, play mode, which is great for sensory play for babies and toddlers. So definitely check both of those books out. And I'm just checking the chat here. Oh my goodness. Kirsten says, "I just finished this book last night. I loved it. Definitely going to share with the kiddos during my outreach activities." Wonderful. Thank you. And we're going to go now into middle grade books. Oops. There we go. The first book on my list is called Alebrijes. This is written by Donna Barba Higuera and illustrated by David Alvarez. This book received a ton of starred reviews from School Library Journal, Kirkus, Publishers Weekly, and Booklist. Now, this is a science fiction book, and it centers around Leandro. He's 13 years old, and his younger sister, Gabby. They live in what's called the Pax, but they live as cascabeles, which is the descendants of farmers who worked the lands of the San Joaquin Valley, but before a disaster wiped out the whole entire area 400 years ago. So they're living on their own as orphans, and how they stay alive, they have to pickpocket. So they steal quite a bit in order to keep themselves alive. And Leandro takes the fall for his sister when she's caught stealing. And as a punishment, he is exiled from the area, and he's transformed into a hummingbird drone. Yes, you heard me right. He's transformed into a hummingbird drone, and he joins the other machines called alebrijes. And as an alebrije, he uncovers a dangerous plot. So this book is going to introduce readers to mutant monsters, there's pirates, and outcasts as he tries to save his sister and all the other fellow casabeles from an oppressive regime. There's lots of world building in this story. The black and white illustrations are beautiful, and they really help tell the story. So if you're looking for something with a little bit more meat, a little bit more science fiction, definitely grab Alebrijes. Okay, I have a series update. So to your left, the first book on my series update is The Last Kids on Earth and the Monster Dimension. It's book 9 in the series. It's written by Max Brailer, and this is going to be released November 7th. I got a little flyer and I heard about it from one of the publishers. But in this book, the kids have escaped the Forbidden Fortress, and Thrall has what he needs to complete the tower, except that Jack is now even more powerful than he realized. And now, in order to stop the inevitable, which is basically blowing up the world, he has to go into the monster dimension. This is a popular series with kids, so definitely you want to grab The Last Kids on Earth, which is book number 9. Also, a book that came out this month is Spy School Goes North. That is book 11 of the series, and it's written by Stuart Gibbs, and it's about Ben and his friends. And in this particular book, they are training in Alaska when Cyrus is kidnapped by his old Russian nemesis. So together, Ben and his friend Erica, they have to mount a rescue mission. But things start to go out of control because there's a plot involving the secret history of US-Russian relations and lots of bears. So if you have kids that love the Spy School series or any type of spy books, you definitely want to grab Spy School Goes North. Okay, we are switching gears, and we are going to move to teen fiction. First book on the list, oops, sorry, I gotta fix my camera. First book on the list is called The Blackwoods. This is written by Brandy Colbert, and this received starred reviews in Kirkus and Publishers Weekly. And this is about Blossom Blackwood. Blossom is a legendary Hollywood star. She has been in so many movies on the silver screen, and she's the most celebrated actor of the era and the matriarch of her famous family. But she has died, and she's died taking some secrets to the grave. Her great-granddaughters, Hollis and Ardith, are really reeling and trying to come to terms with her death. They don't know their famous relative as Blossom Blackwood. They just know their great-grandmother as Bibi. That's all she was called. And after she passes away, everything changes. And Hollis isn't interested in fame, and neither is Ardith, but the story is told between both girls because they're learning from the press that there are secrets that she took with her. So they have to uncover what those secrets are. So this is a family saga. It's character driven, and it's told between the two granddaughters. So if you like mystery, if you like the whole Hollywood scene and glamour, The the Blackwoods is going to be your best bet. This next book is called The Collector's Stories. This is a short story collection, and it's edited by A.S. King. This received starred reviews in Kirkus and School Library Journal. So this is an anthology of stories, and it's jam-packed with stories from popular novelists such as Jason Reynolds, M.T. Anderson, David Levithan, and Randy Rebay, to name a few. The stories here are ones of experiences. So it's like just a collection of different things from different authors. I really liked the story La Concha by E.E. Charlton Trujillo because it deals with a girl who has a certain kind of jar, and she's facing sexual abuse, and the person that's abusing her doesn't know what's going on until she releases the jar that's with her. That's one of my favorite stories. There's also Corey McCarthy's Museum of Misery. That is a really cool short story because it's an illustrated tour of trauma and internalized self-hatred. I had to really look through that story twice just because there was so much art in there, and it leaves you feeling a certain kind of way and just kind of examining yourself after you read it. There's a story from Jason Reynolds that's called A Recording for Carol Before It Goes, and it deals with a loved one who is going through the process of Alzheimer's. So the stories are from various times, various genres, and there's themes of gun violence, abuse, systemic injustice, and so much more. So pick up The Collector's Stories by A.S. King. Our next story is a sports-themed story and a coming-of-age story called Resball. This is written by Byron Graves, and it received a starred review in School Library Journal. This is an Indigenous story about 15-year-old Trey. Trey is going through a lot right now because his older brother Jackson died in a car accident. Jackson was a basketball star, very popular, and he was hoping to help his team, the Red Lake Warriors, win the next championship. Trey also plays basketball, but really all he wants to do is read his graphic novels. He just wants to hang out with his friends, and he really wants to get with the new girl, Kiana. He really wants her to like him back. The varsity basketball team, though, has taken Trey under their wing, and so Trey gets to represent his Ojibwe reservation, Ojibwe tribe, and he steps into his late brother's shoes as the next basketball player. But he's realizing with that responsibility, there comes a high cost that he has to face. But this is a great novel about coming into your own. It tackles grief, the weight of expectations, and there's great descriptions of the play-by-play basketball games, and then balances that with life on the reservation. So definitely pick up Resball by Byron Graves. Okay, now I know it's Halloween, it's October. You know I'm all about the spooky, and I just had to put these two books on here because these really stood out to me this month. The first one I received months ago. This is called The House of Ash and Bone, and it's written by Joel A. Sutherland. And it's about this young girl named Josephine. She's 17, she's a writer, and during their winter vacation, she and her family are moving into their newly inherited old Vermont mansion. It's tall, it's gorgeous. But the thing to know about Josephine, she's unique. Why is she unique? She can hear the thoughts of her family members. And she's dealt with this secret for years. She's never revealed to anybody that she can read the thoughts of her family members. And so she's just kept quiet about it. And after they move into the mansion, Josephine begins seeing things. She's seeing apparitions. She's seeing her parents and siblings. They are starting to suffer from kind of a short-term memory loss. and she's starting to suspect that there's an evil lurking within their house. And to make matters even more crazy, she meets this ghost named Dorcas, and she doesn't know whether or not this ghost is going to be a friend to her or a foe. But then she's starting to realize that the house has a history, and Dorcas, the ghost, their pasts are intertwined, and she's realizing that she's the only one that can save their lives because her and her family are in grave danger. If you like spooky stories like I do, if you like creeps, ghosts, things that bump in the night, recommend House of Ash and Bone by Joel A. Sutherland. The second book to your right, this one is very unique. I got this last month and I started reading it, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. This is called Too Scared to Sleep. These are short stories written by Andrew Duplessis. Now, the cool thing about this book is that each short story in this book, it comes with a QR code. And when you scan the QR code with your phone, it shows a 15 to 30-second scene from each story. So it's very interactive. So after you get done reading the story, it encourages you to scan that code. And I gotta tell you, I read this late at night. Bad idea. Because when I went to go scan the code for one of the stories, there was this creepy thing that comes running at you. And, I don't want to scream at 11:30 at night, but guess what? That's what happened. My favorite stories in this book, there's a story about a daughter. She loses her mom in a plane crash. However, the mom comes home and the daughter's happy. She's like, oh my God, you did survive. Oh, wow. I can't believe you're home. You made it. Only she realizes her mother is not the same person that left their house that morning. That is a creepy, wonderful story. Or the garbage disposal. There's a garbage disposal in the house that feeds on human flesh. If you love creepy things, if you love blood, guts, if you like twists in a story, you definitely want to pick up Too Scared to Sleep. Again, very unique. Love the whole interactive QR code vibe to it. I loved it. So pick it up. Okay, we are moving on to children and teen nonfiction. All right, the next item on my list is called, and I have to get the pronunciation right in my lovely, beautiful reading planner. It is called Zillet and Other Important Rhymes. This is written by Bob Odenkirk and illustrated by Aaron Odenkirk. This received starred reviews in Book Page and School Library Journal. So I loved this book because they're short, silly poems, and they describe this book as no-nonsense poems for all ages. And each poem has neutral colored illustrations. This would make a great read-alike to books by Jack Prelutsky or Shel Silverstein. My favorite poems from this book was Upside Right, where you're reading a sign, but it's not your ordinary sign, where everything's kind of flipped around. There's also a poem called A Frida Kahlo, and it's inspiring kids to make their own art and become their own artist in their own right. There's another poem called Order of Out. See how that does that wordplay? Instead of out of order, order of out, where a sign is not in order at all. And it's just silly, zany poems for kids. And you might know the name Bob Odenkirk. If that name rings a bell, you are right. He is the actor from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. So the story behind this book, he wrote poems for his children, Aaron and Bet, when they were younger. And he encouraged them to have wordplay. He encouraged them to write poems before bedtime. Well, he kept all those poems that they wrote as kids. And during the pandemic, as adults, they looked at them one more time. Some poems they re-edited, some poems they kept the same. And Erin, who's an illustrator, she added her illustrative touches to each poem. So definitely pick out Zillet and Other Important Rhymes. Our next book is called DK Eyewitness Encyclopedia of Everything. Now you're probably thinking, why are you giving us an encyclopedia of everything? I love DK books, and I have 2 DK books on this list. I love DK books specifically because they support browsable nonfiction, where kids can just pick up the book, look through it, read, get the information they need quickly. This was received a Brodart Top Youth Titles for the month. And this book was comprised and put together with kids and families in mind. And it features every topic that a child would want to read about. So from fossils, dinosaurs, because you know kids love to ask about dinosaurs, to space, asteroids, birds, the most amazing animals, greatest record breakers. The page to your left just shows you what you'll see when you look at this book. So it has information about Vikings, it has facts, it has eye-catching graphics, perfect for a browsable reading nonfiction selection for your collection. It says this book is geared for ages 9 and up. And again, we know DK Eyewitness has those wonderful illustrations and eye-popping graphics. So definitely check this out. The other book on my list is called DK's My American Story, Our Traditions. This is part of their My American Story series. And again, it has browsable nonfiction features into it. And it features everything kids would want to know about American symbols. So it talks about what the American flag is. What does the bald eagle represent? It talks about what is the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. And it also shows American symbols such as the Liberty Bell, the Statue of Liberty, the White House. It also covers the Pledge of Allegiance, cultural and religious celebrations, American holidays and why we celebrate them, and more. There is a table of contents in the front of the book, as well as a glossary and an index in the back of the book as well. Okay, we are moving on to graphic novels and manga. And I'm just going to check my time. Okay, we got plenty of time. The first book on my list is called Lunch Buddies, Battle in the Backyard. This is the first book in a new series for graphic novels, and it's written and illustrated by Daniel Wiseman. So this is a wacky graphic novel series, and it's about a little boy named Marco. Marco loves to dance, he loves to rap, and he says at the beginning of the book, "My name is Marco, and I'm here to say, I'm just happy it's Friday." I was like, yes, I'm all for it. Please continue, Marco. And so Marco is also known for making the best sandwiches. He makes them so well that when he goes home to make the sandwich talks to him. It talks back to him. And he's like, "What? Did you just talk?" And the sandwich says yes. And the sandwich is named Sandwich. So Sandwich and Marco team up to scare Marco's sister Julia. So Marco puts the sandwich underneath a lid, and he just opens it up to scare Julia. So they have fun together and they play fun antics. But Julia is getting frustrated because there's these 2 pesky squirrels that keep chasing her. So Marco and Sandwich have a plan. They go to duke it out with the squirrels in the backyard because guess what? These squirrels love to break dance. I thought this was fun, funny. There's bright colors, bright illustrations, simple sentences for that second grader. It's vibrant and it's just the right amount of zany. If you have fans who love pizza and taco, I would recommend this series to them. Again, this is the first book in the series, so check out Lunch Buddies by Daniel Wiseman. This next book, I adored this book. This is called Curl Friends, New in Town. This is a middle grade series, and it's written and illustrated by Sherry Miller, and it's about a girl named Charlie. Charlie's in the middle of the picture here. She wears glasses, and she's used to being the new girl. The reason why she's always the new girl is because her father is a retired Air Force representative, and he just retired. And so now she feels like she can be established, but she's used to just going from place to place to place, being the new girl. And they just moved from London to the States. And so she wants to fit in at her new school. She reads Teen Vogue and all these magazines and takes all the popular quizzes. And she picks the perfect outfit, the perfect hairstyle. She makes sure she wears contacts. She wants to make her first day of school the best, and she wants just to put this best face out there. Well, her first day of school is awful. The janitor accidentally knocks over a bucket of water, and it messes up her hairdo, messes up her new outfit. She's devastated, but she finds friends. She finds a friend that helps her do her hair and fix her hair real fast. She finds 3 friends who help her to just be normal and just be a normal friend. I gotta get their names here. Let me see. She meets Nola, who rescues her from the horrible hair day. And then there's Kara and Ella, who just really want to be her friend, and they just want to have a good time. But she really wants to impress them. So Charlie changes everything. She changes her room. She changes what she likes. She changes how she dresses, because she's so worried that they won't like her. And I have to tell you, I loved this book because this book shows girls just to be who you are. You don't have to change your appearance. You don't have to change what you like, what you dislike. You don't have to change any of that just to be accepted. People will like you the way they are. And this book had a wonderful positive message to say that to young girls. Again, this is the first book in the series, so definitely check out Curl Friends, New in Town by Sherry Miller. So what I'm reading, I am reading a ton these days. The first book to your left is called The Art of Talking with Children. This is by Rebecca Rowland. This is a nonfiction title that helps parents or caregivers to learn about what it means to really talk with children. I am reading this along with my colleague, Bonnie McEwen, for our Big Ideas book discussion title. That is going to be Friday, November 17th. So if you want to, please grab a copy, read with us, and we'll be discussing it November 17th. The second book on my list is called Thieves' Gambit, and this is by Kavion Lewis. This is a teen novel. It's a teen thriller about Ross. She's 17. She's working as a thief with her family, but she's tired of stealing. She's tired of thieving. She just wants to get out of the lifestyle, and she wants to go to college, have a normal life, but her mother gets kidnapped. And so Ross gets an invitation to enter what's called the Thieves' Gambit. It's a series of dangerous games and international heists where the grand prize is to wish for anything in the world. So it's forcing Ross to get back into the life, but she has to decide who to con and who to trust before she loses her mother. This is for fans that, if you liked the Inheritance games, this is a read-alike similar to that. And then the last book to your right is called Out There Screaming. It's an anthology of Black horror, and I had to get this book because I was hearing so much good buzz about it. This is edited by Jordan Peele, who's the director of Get Out. But in this book, there are 19 Black authors that Jordan Peele says they, quote, give us their sunken places. If you know the term sunken place, that's from his movie Get Out. But these are stories of the realities of brutality, anti-Black racism, all these different types of elements, and they're all told through 19 stories. So I'm really excited to get into that. And Just to let you know, we have some upcoming webinars coming up on your radar. November 8th, which is a couple weeks from now, we're going to have Pop YS Live, Reader's Advisory for Kids and Teens. That's going to be from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. What that webinar will consist of, it'll be myself, and we have two panelists. We have Dusty from Waterloo Public Library and Megan from Bondurant Public Library. They and I will be sharing our experiences about Reader's Advisory and providing it for kids and teens. And we will provide you with some resources on how to boost your Reader's Advisory tools. So that'll be November 8th from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. Friday, November 17th is the Big Ideas book discussion that I mentioned. It's The Art of Talking with Children. Again, if you'd like, please pick up a copy, read it, and join Bonnie and I from 9:30 to 11, where we discuss the book and different ways to promote early literacy tips through talking. And November 29th, you want to save this date. Please save this date. We are going to host an early bird summer reading virtual training. That will be from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. The description is not on Iowa Learns yet, but we will let you know when it will be. But I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that this is coming down the pike. But we will have the training for summer reading, and there'll be an opportunity where you can bring your summer reading task sheets from last year and share with your colleagues summer reading ideas, things that worked with you last year, because let's face it, sharing is caring. So for all of these events, please register in Iowa Learns. We will get the description for the Early Bird Summer Reading Virtual Training up as soon as we can. Let's see. And if you haven't heard, some of you guys have heard, these are all Ira Reads selections for 2024. The children's selection is Tumble by Celia C. Perez. And the teen selection is Hollow Fires, written by Samira Ahmed. We will have more information about the All Ira Reads webinar in the next couple of months, because we're planning out when to have that All Ira Reads author webinar. So please stay tuned for more info. And it's giveaway time. For those of you that are new, just to let you know, we do give away a Check It Out prize book pack. So each session, 3 winners will receive a Check It Out prize book pack from me. And if you're selected, all the packs will be sent via Iowa Shares. And many congratulations to the September winners: Kayla Ferguson from Dubuque County Public Library, Asbury Branch; Julie Long from Slater Public Library; and Andrea Lepley from Manchester Public Library. And I just want to check, there was a question in the chat. It looks like, let's see. Unfortunately, I was not able to see most of this presentation. Will you be able to find it online later? Yes, all of our Check It Out webinars are recorded, and we do post them on the State Library of Iowa's YouTube page. So yes, they will be recorded and posted on there once we get everything edited and ready to go. And Megan Schnicke says, yes, congrats. Who doesn't love free books? Yes, who doesn't love a free book? I don't know about you, but I'm all for the free books. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much for attending today. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free, please answer in the chat if you have any questions, or if you're reading anything good, can you please share with everybody? Cannot wait to read Out There Screaming. Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys. Ooh, I see a lot of good questions or good comments too. Oh, and I'm looking forward to reading Thieves Gambit. Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Amanda, do you have any final thoughts or anything?
We did have a participant ask, do we do an adult version of Check It Out? Do you know if any of the consultants do that? Not that to my knowledge they don't, but
That's a great question. I know Marianne Maury, our CE consultant, she was providing an adult version of Check It Out. I don't know if they're still doing that per se, but that's something that we can look into and share.
Yeah, that's what I told Bailey. So we just whatever. But yeah, that Thieves Gambit, that's what I'm gonna tell my son to read. I think he would enjoy that. He's like 14, so that's right up his alley. I was excited to see that. I love finding new things for him. It's great.
Absolutely. Ooh, and I see someone said, I just finished, what is it? The Cosmetology of Monsters. Ooh, is that teen, adult? That sounds interesting. Let's see. Adult fiction. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Megan. And let's see.
But I think everything was good. And that was the only question that I saw that came through in the chat. But otherwise, if no one else has any questions or whatever, we will get everyone marked off in attendance and I will learn, and you will get your link, and everything will be also available, like Janeé said, via our YouTube channel. And
Yes. And if you have any other questions, again, you guys know how to reach me. You can call me or email me. I'm more than happy to answer questions. So feel free. Don't be scared to reach out.
lots of thank yous, great things. Yes, that's great, Janeé. Much
Awesome.
appreciated as always.
Everybody's like, thank you, gotta go.
Right? Same. And I know Janeé is really busy too. So I think we'll just stop right there. We'll let your thank yous come in a little bit much, but we just thanks everyone for coming in today. Great as always. Thanks, Janeé.